Picture this, it's the year 1200. No grocery stores, no hospitals, no Wi-Fi. Just you, a muddy village, and winter closing in. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Wrong. Medieval peasants didn't just survive, they thrived, using tricks so clever they'd make modern preppers jealous. From preserving food without a fridge to healing wounds with backyard weeds, these folks had hacks for everything. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 medieval survival hacks you can use today, whether you're camping, homesteading, or prepping for a blackout. Stick around for number 1, it's so simple it'll blow your mind. Let's step back in time and uncover secrets that still work. Before electricity or apps, peasants relied on nature and grit. Their survival wasn't luck, it was skill. Let's dive into the hacks that kept them alive and how they can help us today. Imagine slaughtering a pig in autumn. You've got meat for days, but winter's coming and there's no freezer. What do? Medieval peasants had a genius answer: smoke. They'd hang pork, fish, or even cheese above a low, smoky fire, often in a shed or chimney. Hardwoods like oak or applewood were favorites, burning slow to coat the food in preservative chemicals. Smoke didn't just dry meat, it killed bacteria, locking in flavor for months. A single ham could feed a family through spring. This wasn't fancy, it was life or death. But here's the kicker: smoking built community. Villagers shared smokehouses, trading tips and stories while the fire crackled. It was like a medieval barbecue, minus the selfies. And the science? Still solid. Smoke's phenols and acids are natural preservatives, used today in artisanal jerky or smoked salmon. Want to try it? You don't need a castle. Build a DIY smoker with a metal barrel, some wood chips, and a rack. Hang your meat, keep the fire low, around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and smoke for 12 to 24 hours. Fish takes less, about 6 hours. No power, no problem. In a blackout, smoked food lasts weeks without cooling. Plus, it tastes incredible, way better than canned tuna. Just vent the smoke safely and check local fire codes. Why's this hack so great? It's low-tech, scalable, and delicious. Whether you're prepping for emergencies or just grilling for friends, smoking preserves more than food, it preserves time. And in medieval winters, time was survival. Modern tip: start small with chicken breasts. Soak wood chips overnight for better smoke. Store your haul in a cool, dry place, and you're set for weeks. Dirty water was a medieval death sentence. Streams carried waste, wells ran dry, and ponds bred disease. Yet peasants found a filter in nature: bogs. Sphagnum moss, that spongy green stuff in wetlands, was their secret weapon. It traps sediment, absorbs odors, and even kills some bacteria thanks to its natural acidity. They'd scoop water through moss clumps or stuff it into cloth bags, letting gravity do the work. It wasn't sterile, but it turned muddy sludge into something drinkable. In a world without taps, that was gold. Bogs weren't just filters, they were sacred. Villagers told tales of spirits guarding clean water, a reminder to respect nature's gifts. And science backs them up. Sphagnum's been used in war zones to dress wounds because it's so antimicrobial. Today, survivalists swear by it for emergencies, especially in wet climates like the Pacific Northwest or UK moors. Here's how to try it: find a bog or swamp, look for that bright green moss. Rinse it to remove dirt, then layer it in a clean cloth or bottle. Pour water through slowly. It's not perfect, so boil afterward for safety, but in a pinch, it's a lifesaver. No moss nearby? Charcoal from a campfire works too. Crush it, layer it with sand, and you've got a peasant-style purifier. This hack shines because it's free and everywhere. No fancy gear, just observation. Next time you're hiking and your filter clogs, check the bog. Medieval peasants didn't have Brita, they had brains, and that's all you need too. Modern tip: practice with clean moss at home first. Test on non-potable water and always boil post-filtering to avoid giardia. Starvation stalked medieval winters, but peasants had a secret weapon growing in every ditch: nettles. These stingy weeds were a superfood, packed with iron, vitamin C, and protein. With gloves, or a stick, they'd harvest young leaves, boil them into soup, or dry them for tea. Heat neutralized the sting, turning prickly greens into hearty meals. A bowl of nettle soup with barley could keep a family going for days, even when crops failed. It wasn't gourmet, it was survival. Nettles doubled as medicine. Their tea fought fatigue, anemia, even arthritis. Peasants didn't know vitamins, but they knew results. Entire villages foraged together, sharing recipes and dodging stings. It was like a spiky community garden. Today, nettles are a homesteader's dream. They grow like crazy, check your backyard or local park. Boil them with potatoes, onions, and salt for a soup that's honestly better than kale smoothies. Or dry the leaves for winter teas. 1 acre of nettles could feed you for months, no grocery store needed. In a crisis, this is free food that laughs at drought. Want to start? Wear gloves, snip tops of young plants, and soak in water to clean. Boil 10 minutes, and you're golden. Caution, don't eat raw, and avoid old leaves, they're tough. Foraging's fun, but check local laws, some parks restrict picking. Why's this a top hack? It's food, medicine, and resilience in one plant. Medieval peasants turned weeds into wealth, and you can too. Modern tip: blend boiled nettles with garlic and cream for a fancy soup. Store dried leaves in jars for year-round boosts. A cut in the Middle Ages wasn't just painful, it was deadly. Infection could kill faster than hunger. Enter yarrow, the peasant's band-aid. This feathery plant, growing wild in fields, was a first aid kit. Its leaves, crushed or chewed, stopped bleeding in seconds and fought bacteria with natural compounds like achillane, named for Achilles, the myth says, who used it in battle. Peasants pressed yarrow onto wounds, tied it with cloth, or brewed it for fever teas. It was so trusted, they called it soldier's herb. Yarrow wasn't just practical, it was ritual. Healers whispered blessings over it, blending faith with medicine. And it worked. Studies show yarrow's anti-inflammatory and antiseptic powers rival some modern drugs. No wonder it was stuffed in every forager's pouch. Today, yarrow's a hiker's best friend. It grows across North America and Europe. Look for white or pink flower clusters. Crush fresh leaves, apply to clean cuts, and wrap. For deeper wounds, see a doctor, but for scrapes? Yarrow's got you. You can even dry it for year-round use. Just don't use on open, dirty wounds. It's not a miracle cure, and infection's still a risk. To try it, learn to ID yarrow. Its fern-like leaves are unmistakable. Forage away from roads to avoid toxins. Brew a tea for colds or add dried yarrow to salves. It's like carrying a pharmacy in your pocket, no prescription needed. This hack's brilliance is its simplicity. A weed saved lives then, and it can save yours now, whether you're camping or caught in a storm. Modern tip: make a yarrow salve, dry leaves, infuse in olive oil, mix with beeswax. Smear on minor cuts. Harvests were a medieval peasant's lifeline, but one bad month could spoil everything. Their solution? Root cellars. These weren't fancy basements, just pits dug under floors or into hillsides, lined with straw or clay. Cool, dark, and humid, they kept carrots, turnips, apples, even cheese fresh for months. A cabbage that wilted in days above ground lasted till spring below. No electricity, no ice, just dirt and smarts. Cellars were more than storage, they were strategy. Families planned crops to fill them, sharing surplus with neighbors. A full cellar meant security, pride, even bargaining power. And the physics? Timeless. Underground temps hover at 50 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect for roots and fruits. Humidity stops shriveling, and darkness slows sprouting. Today, cellars are a prepper's dream. No backyard? No worries. Bury a cooler with straw and sand for a mini-cellar. Store potatoes, onions, or jars of pickles, anything that likes cool and damp. Check weekly for rot, and ventilate to avoid mold. In a power outage, this beats a dead fridge. Homesteaders even use cellars for homemade wine or ferments. It's versatile. Want to DIY? Dig a 3-foot pit, line with gravel, and cover with a wooden lid. Add root veggies in crates, layered with straw. No shovel? Stack buckets in a garage corner with damp towels. It's not sexy, but it's apocalypse-proof. Peasants didn't waste food, and neither should you. This hack's power is its reliability. When systems fail, a hole in the ground keeps you fed. That's medieval genius. Modern tip: test a small bucket cellar with carrots. Keep a thermometer inside to monitor temps. Darkness was a medieval enemy. No streetlights, no bulbs. Candles were pricey, so peasants got crafty with rushlights. They'd cut tall rushes, grasses by rivers, soak them in leftover grease from cooking or slaughter, and let them dry. One rush, lit, burned 20 minutes, casting a soft glow for sewing, eating, or storytelling. A bucket of fat and a patch of weeds lit a home for weeks. Zero waste, maximum hustle. Rushlights weren't just light, they were economy. Every household had grease, from pork drippings to sheep tallow. Kids made rushlights as chores, learning thrift early. And the glow? Cozy, like a campfire, tying families together after sunset. Science loves it too. Fat slow burn is efficient, no chemicals needed. Today, rushlights are a survivalist's backup. No batteries? Grab bacon grease or oil, soak dried grasses, rushes, cattails, even straw work, and light up. They're smoky, so use outdoors or ventilate well. A single jar of fat can light your camp for days. In a pinch, they double as fire starters. It's the ultimate use what you've got hack. To make one, melt grease, dip dried rushes, and cool on a rack. Store in a tin for emergencies. No rushes? Twist cotton strips for wicks. It's not Instagram worthy, but when your flashlight dies, you'll thank those peasants. Why's this a top hack? It turns scraps into solutions. Light meant safety, work, and warmth, then and now. Modern tip: practice with cooking oil and twine. Keep a tin of rushlights in your car for breakdowns. Headaches, fevers, or a twisted ankle could ruin a peasant's day. No Tylenol in sight. Their fix? Willow bark, nature's aspirin. Its salicin eases pain and inflammation, a fact peasants knew by instinct. They chew the bark, bitter as heck, or steep it in hot water for tea. A cup soothed arthritis or colds, keeping workers in the fields. No pharmacy, just trees. Willow was sacred, too. Healers tied it to moon cycles, harvesting at dawn for potency. Superstition? Maybe, but salicin's real, modern aspirin's based on it. Entire villages leaned on willow groves, sharing brews during flu season. It was medicine for the masses. Today, willow's a survivalist's gem. Find it by rivers, look for long, bendy branches. Strip the inner bark, dry it, and steep a teaspoon in boiling water for 10 minutes. Sip slowly, it's strong. Fair warning, too much can upset your stomach, and kids or aspirin-allergic folks should skip it. Consult a doctor if you're on meds, it's potent stuff. Foraging's easy but ethical, take only what you need, and avoid polluted streams. You can store dried bark for years, ready for migraines or sprains. It's not instant, but it's free and grows everywhere. This hack's a lifesaver because pain doesn't care about power grids. When pills run out, willow's waiting. Modern tip: powder dried bark for capsules if tea's too bitter. Start with small doses. Firewood was gold in medieval villages. Chop too much, and you're exhausted. Too little, and you're starving. Peasants stretched fuel with hay boxes. They'd heat a pot of stew or porridge, then nestle it in a wooden box stuffed with hay. The insulation kept cooking for hours, no flames needed. A morning boil meant dinner by dusk, freeing time for chores. It was like a slow cooker, minus the plug. Hay boxes were social hubs. Families swapped recipes while pots simmered, and villages shared boxes during harvests. The science? Basic thermodynamics: hay traps heat like a blanket. Tough grains or cheap cuts turn tender, saving resources and teeth. Today, hay boxes are eco-warriors. No hay? Use blankets, towels, or a cooler. Start rice or beans on a camp stove, wrap the hot pot tight, and let it sit for 6 hours. It's perfect for van life or power outages, no gas, no fuss. Plus, it saves money on fuel, and who doesn't love that? To DIY, grab a box, line it with old quilts, and tuck in a tight-lidded pot. Test with soups, nothing watery, or it cools too fast. Spoiler, it's not instant, so plan ahead. But when your propane's gone, this hack's a hero. Why is it awesome? It's sustainable, cheap, and hands-off. Peasants cooked smarter, not harder, so can you. Modern tip, try oatmeal overnight in a cooler. Add dried fruit for flavor. Rotting food wasn't just waste, it was a crisis. Peasants fought back with fermentation, turning cabbage into sauerkraut, milk into cheese, or apples into cider. Salt or whey kicked off good bacteria, preserving harvests for years while adding flavor and probiotics. A jar of pickles could outlast a siege. No fancy labs, just crocs and patience. Fermentation was celebration. Villages held pickling parties, trading jars and songs. It wasn't just food, it was wealth, health, and hope. Science agrees, fermented foods boost immunity and digestion, a fact peasants felt in their bones. Today, fermentation's a trend, kimchi, kombucha, you name it. But it's also survival. No power? Ferment veggies with salt, 1 tablespoon per pound of cabbage works. Pack tight, submerge in brine, and wait 2 weeks. Your gut gets a boost, and your pantry stays stocked. Cheese or yogurt's trickier, but doable with milk and a starter culture. In a crisis, this is food security. Start small, shred cabbage, salt it, and mash till juicy. Jar it, keep it cool, and burp daily to release gas. No jars? Use a clean bucket. It's forgiving, peasants didn't sterilize everything, and neither do you. This hack's near the top because it's timeless. Spoilage loses when bacteria's your ally. Modern tip, add garlic to sauerkraut for zing. Store in a cool basement for months. Mosquitoes weren't just annoying, they spread plague and fever. Peasants fought back with plants, crushing lavender, mint, or tansy to rub on skin or burn in fires. The oils repelled bugs like natural DEET, no lab required. Beds stuffed with wormwood kept fleas at bay, and smoldering herbs cleared tents. It was war on wings, and plants were the weapons. This wasn't random, villages mapped herb patches, teaching kids what worked. Lavender doubled as a sleep aid, mint soothed stomachs. It was multitasking before apps, and it holds up. Studies show mint's menthol and lavender's linalool drive bugs nuts. Today, herbal repellents are campers' gold. Boil mint leaves, strain, and mix with witch hazel for a spray. Apply every few hours, safe for kids, smells great. Or burn dried tansy in a can for backyard BBQs. Forage carefully, ID plants with a guide, and avoid overharvesting. No plants? Essential oils work, but fresh is free. To make it, simmer a handful of mint in a cup of water, cool, and bottle. Spritz before hikes. It's not 100% pair with nets for malaria zones, but it's medieval ingenuity in a bottle. Why's this number 1? Bugs are universal, and this hack's so easy. Grow mint, crush, done. It's empowerment you can smell. Modern tip, plant lavender by your tent for double duty, sleep and bug defense. We've just walked through a medieval village, from smoky sheds to nettle patches, and guess what? Those peasants weren't just scraping by, they were masters of survival. Smoking meat, filtering water, cooking with hay, their hacks didn't need wires or screens, just nature and know-how. Today, we're one blackout from chaos, but these tricks? They're blackout-proof. They remind us, you don't need much to live well, just a spark of ingenuity. Try one this weekend. Ferment some cabbage, brew willow tea, or crush mint for bugs. Feel that connection to ancestors who laughed at hard times. It's not about going backward, it's about reclaiming skills that never expired. In a world obsessed with apps, there's power in a root cellar or a smoky fire. What's your favorite hack? Nettle soup? Yarrow patches? Drop it in the comments, I read everyone. If this video sparked an idea, share it with a friend who loves camping or prepping. And hit subscribe for more survival wisdom from history, we're just getting started. Let's keep these hacks alive, one fire at a time. Until next time, stay curious and stay prepared.